Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We have a couple lines open. Also, if you want to send me a tweet, really easy to reach at Richie Walsh. Well, the Pitt Panthers have Oklahoma State this Saturday. If they play like they did last Saturday, Ron, where do you think they will end up? On the losing end again?
That's going to be tough. I mean, Oklahoma State just is going to challenge that secondary, that defense even more. They can really throw it down the field. I thought Pitt played better, much better than I anticipated they would at Penn State. I wasn't nearly as impressed with Penn State as I thought I was going to be. I thought Pitt played them pretty even for most of the game. A couple drop passes, a couple penalties. The 2 interceptions really hurt them. I thought they played better defensively than I thought, but they're really going to be tested this week.
And I don't even know
it's going to be a difficult game for them.
I don't know if Pitt can score many points. I don't think that I don't know. I want to see more from this quarterback, but he's not mobile. He should have thrown the ball away a few times. And I think if the Panthers, we were both at the game, if the Panthers had a different quarterback, say Nate Peterman, which they don't, it might have been a different ball game.
Well, I mean, Narduzzi exonerated Brown on the first interception. He said Henderson didn't break fast enough, didn't go after the ball. I'm going to take his word on that. I thought Brown was okay. I'm not making a change at that position yet. I don't think there's a quarterback controversy. We'll see if Brown has a rough game Saturday. But you're right. They're probably going to have to score some points.
Yeah, I wasn't saying there's a quarterback controversy. I'm saying that if they had Nate Peterman or a better quarterback.
Nate Peterman's in the pros.
Exactly.
He's in the NFL. They don't have him.
You're right.
If they had Dan Marino in his prime, they might have won that game.
If they had James Conner, if they had Bill Fralick, if they had all these guys,
Mike Ditka can come back and play.
All right, let's go out the phone lines, and we're going to go out to Paul in the north side. How you doing, Paul?
Okay, Rich, how you doing?
Good, thanks for calling.
Hey, my question is about Pitt's chances in the ACC. They don't play Florida State, Clemson, or Louisville, okay? But they do have some teams that are probably better than them, like Georgia Tech, Duke, Virginia Tech, Miami. So what do you think our chances are in that conference? They were talking, and there was talk that they were looking to win the ACC championship.
Yeah, you know what?
I don't see that happening. But I didn't see them going to Clemson and win last year either. So you never know. I mean, these next 2 are very difficult. After Oklahoma State, you got to go to Georgia Tech. They play that funky offense down there. That's going to be a very difficult game. They could be 1-3 after these first 4 games, and close to being 0-4 with that Youngstown State game going to overtime. But maybe they'll surprise you and win this week. College football is a beautiful thing, man. There's so many possessions, and the games just last forever. Maybe they'll find a way, but they're going to have to stop a really good quarterback and wide receiver.
They couldn't get the momentum at Penn State. They had opportunities to get back in it and then drop
balls.
For
21 minutes in the first half.
And I have the Panthers at 7-6 this year. That's what I thought at the beginning of the year. Not having Whitehead in these games is huge. I just don't think that they are where they were last year. So I think they're going to be 7-6. I don't think an ACC championship is in their future this year. All right, let's go back out to the phone lines, and we're going to go out to Michelle Monaca. How you doing, Michelle?
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thanks for calling.
Okay, I had 2 things. The one I want to talk about is all the penalties the Steelers had yesterday. How can you win games with that many stupid penalties?
All right, you're not going to win too many. They were fortunate to win yesterday. You're absolutely right.
Good thing they were playing the Browns.
And, I mean, Tomlin's going to be all over them about it this week, but he's all over them before. Occasionally, they have bad games. I will be shocked if they have a big penalty game this week.
Yeah.
I hope not, because the penalties is which kills us, which makes us mainly lose the game.
Well, they won. They won this one, though, Michelle. They won it, so they didn't. I know it feels like a loss to a lot of people, but they are 1-0.
And that's the only stat that matters when you look at it. And maybe they are lucky they opened with the Browns. They might not have beat a lot of teams the way they played, especially on offense with the slow, sluggish start. But you never know. The Steelers kind of play down to the competition sometimes, so you never know what was going to happen.
Now they get a break with Minnesota. I think it's a huge break. Minnesota played last night on Monday Night Football in a short week, and they have to travel here. I'd like to go back and look over the years. Teams that play Monday night and have to travel the following Sunday. That's a tough assignment.
That is.
A tough assignment. It's a short week, and then you mix travel in with it. That doesn't mean they can't come in here and win, but I think that's a factor. I really do.
All right, back out to the phone lines. Let's go out to Nick in Newcastle. How you doing, Nick? Nick?
Hi, Rich.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Thanks for taking my call. I just want to listen. I'm not here to bash Todd Haley, but I do want to talk about his play calling.
You're going to bash him anyway, though, right?
I mean, no, not anything bad. I mean, it just kind of seems like when we come and play these lesser opponents, he just kind of wants to go sideways. I mean, I think the offense had some rust. You could definitely tell. But, I mean, with these offensive weapons we have, I think just these fans, they just want to see this team come out and really start scoring points like we think that they can.
Well, you don't think he wants to see him start scoring points, too?
I
don't think it didn't look to me like they had a lot of confidence in Bell. I mean, the way he was running the ball, for whatever reason, they didn't give him a whole lot of opportunities. They threw it down the field to Antonio. They got to get more out of Le'Veon, and I think once they do, that offense will start to click.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's you saw at times that it was there, and it was because of Antonio Brown. But like you're right, you're exactly right. Le'Veon Bell has a better game. It opens up things for everyone. Right. So I'm not ready to count them out, but I do expect this offense to score 35 a game, and they barely could score two touchdowns.
They scored 2 touchdowns.
So, all right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Eric in Gibsonia. How you doing, Eric?
Hey, guys. How are you tonight?
Good. Thanks for the call.
Now, look, just a quick question for both of you gentlemen. I know nobody wants to talk about baseball because it's been a big disappointing season for the Pirates with everything considered. But regarding the future of the organization and John Ho Gung, if you two guys are part of the Pirates Brain Trust, would you really want him part of your organization? The guy's a threat to society. Shouldn't they just cut ties and say we're done? They look much better. I wonder what you think about that. Thank you.
You know, I absolutely hear what you're saying, but they're in the business of trying to win games, and if they think he can help them, and I think he can help them, they're going to try to bring him back. Whether he comes back or not, I have no idea. I don't think he's going to be driving in this country, but I certainly get the caller's point. But, you know, they're in the business of winning games, and they need somebody to hit home runs and play third base. If they can get him back, I think he's going to be back.
Yeah, I see your point, and I agree with Ron. There's no question he's coming back. They're going to make the opportunity to get him back.
I'm not sure they're going to get him in. They may not. That may be a moot point for them.
The country might not let him in, you know, and that's the biggest issue right now. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, if I'm the Pirates Brain Trust, I don't know if you can count on him. I would move on from him and go out and try to get a second or third baseman. And if he comes back, then great. Then you have another guy either off the bench or whatever. So I'd go out and try to get a second or third baseman and then figure out where to play Harrison at that point. That's what I would do. I wouldn't count on him because we don't know what's going to happen. They thought they were going to have him last year, and you saw what happened. So who knows what's going to happen with the government and his status of getting back into the country. All right, we're going to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.